What's up, y'all? It's Jam and Sam, and today we're going to analyze some more of the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. And we're going to start with Stickerbush Symphony, the great hailed Stickerbush Symphony. Now, the first thing we have to talk about is this. Ooh, I'm using my speakers here. I don't want to use my speakers here. Here we go. Now this piece is in A minor or C major, so we're kind of riding this line between the 7 and the 1. And this is also kind of a theme that Dave does a lot, where he uses this that sort of like minor second up and then a fifth down, you know, kind of thing. They used it a lot in aquatic ambience. So it's kind of his thing, I guess, is like the... And the fact that he's like kind of a Latin rhythm, right? Because he's not hitting the downbeat at all. And he's kind of like syncopating a lot. And he's going in thirds here, you know, there's a lot of thirds going on. And then he finally hits it right on the beat in the last part here. Well, he hits it also on the 2. So he hits it on the 2 and the 4. But he doesn't hit it on the 1 and 3, so he's basically functioning as a snare at this point. And yeah, so it comes as like a counter rhythm kind of thing as we come in. And let's see, for the longest time I thought this was called Stickerbush instead of Sticker. It doesn't matter. I've had people comment on my sticker, but I'm like, I don't care. It's one letter. I'm not worried about one letter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's start with let's do the chords in here. Let's start with the bass. Bass is going from A to C, right? That's the wave station strings. And then we have these pads with the wave station airvox. And these pads are playing C major inverted over C major over G. And then going to E minor over B. So what that means is we technically have an A minor 7 chord, because the bass is playing A and then in C. And so then we have C major 7. So we're going up and down. We're alternating in thirds. We're going A minor 7 to C major 7. It's not quite a nice... Why is this playing? Quite a nice, you know, low movement motion. The reason why he kind of does this in aquatic ambience too, right? Where he moves down in thirds. Let me go down so you can see. So it's kind of that same third movement, and what third movements does is it's very it doesn't communicate a lot of changes. It's not very jarring. It's very smooth. So right, so like when you go from, or if we're up here, A minor 7, then you going from there to C major 7. There's only one note difference, right? These 3 notes are staying the same. So you're really just changing the A and the B. So it's very minimal movement in the chords. So he's starting out with these chords and this sort of counter melody here. And then he goes to to this synth rhythm. But I don't have my right, so once again, he's avoiding the 1 and the 3 in the rhythm, because it's kind of a Latin thing to do, right? Hello to all. Welcome, Paul Galindo. Yes, welcome, Drew Stalgic, too. Yes, we got a good crowd in here. Okay, so it's basically just it's like a Latin kind of rhythm. You know, kind of he does a lot of these Latin rhythms. Basically, nothing's hitting the one except the chord, so you have the one kind of balancing it out, the like hitting the downbeat, and then these rhythms do not hit the one and the three. So you have no sort of anything that could be like a downbeat yet. So it's kind of it kind of gives you the feeling of instability, right? Because it's everything is like floating. There's nothing to anchor you right here. And then he comes in with this bass. So what's this bass do? There's also another bass here. It's two basses. Right, so what's this? So what's this bass? I think both basses are hitting the same thing. We're going from F to B to E, and then we go A, G, back to F. So it's kind of like a resolution, right? We're sliding down. And so what this is, it looks like so far we have a round chord progression, which means that we're using a lot of the circle of fifths, right? We're like, we go from F, and then I'm not really sure if that counts as a circle of fifths movement, but in this scale, it's like, you know, it's basically like this would be like, it's as close as you can get to a perfect fifth. It's actually a tritone. So he's like a tritone down. So that might be considered the break in the movement. So he's like a tritone down, and then a fourth up, and then another fourth up. So we're kind of going backwards on the circle of fifths there. And then he brings it back to F with this walk down from G, A, G, F, which is kind of the most satisfying part of it, right? It's like F, B, E, A, G, F. Pretty cool. And so he counters it with this bass here. Nice. So we have this bass that's using the it's from his synthesizer where he like put a different note for each cutoff filter, which allows it to morph like that. And it goes up in a couple of times in kind of like in aquatic ambience, how you have the bass going. So it's kind of going up in octaves every now and then it goes down even lower. So we have this pattern here, which is also going from F to B to E to A, G, and then walking back down. So you kind of have that definite bass line there. Good strong bass line. And then what are the chords doing? So cool. So we have A minor going down to G major. And then we shift that G up an octave. But we keep these notes going, so it's like... So it's the same chord, basically, he's just inverting it on the next bar. And then we do this, what is this? This is C major to E minor, inverted. So we have minimal movement here, right? And so when you put that in context with the bass, what do you have? You have F. So this is basically F major 7. And then in the bass, we go like up. We go down to B. So we have B. And then that makes that just basically a G major chord with a B in the bass. And then we have this going up, but we change the bass to E. So that means this is like an E minor 7 chord. And then we go to, in the bass we have A. So once again we have an A minor 7 chord. And then we go. So that makes this a another E minor chord just over G. So what do we have in the long run is like F major 7, F major 7 to B, a G over B, G major over B, and then G, let's see, E minor 7, and then A minor 7 to G, E minor 7, E minor over G. Pretty cool, pretty good chords. So that's nice, and then over that we have this melody here. We have that counter melody continuing, right? It's pretty consonant enough in the scale that it doesn't matter if it doesn't have to change with the chords, you know, and we've been hearing it so much. Like, he repeats it enough where it's like, okay, it kind of becomes familiar. It kind of becomes a constant among a changing background. So it's kind of a familiar thing that keeps us grounded. Thanks for doing these. Very calming song. You're welcome, Drew Stalgic. Yes. So let's see what our melody is like. We have that wave station piano echoing to infinity. And we have it an octave up. But the funny thing here is in the beginning you have this, and then you have an echo that's not even the piano. This echo is like a synth, right? Yeah, just a synth echo. So that's pretty cool. He changed the texture of the echo. Gave it a little bit of a different texture. Pretty cool. And what is this doing? This is doing that same motion that we established in that synth in the beginning. It's sort of like, that synth is sort of like a popcorn synth, right? It's just like, it's basically just a sine wave. Yeah, it's basically just a sine wave, that's all. And it fades out, so you have an envelope of like, a pluck envelope, so it's like a sine piano kind of thing, or a sine pluck. So, and then this piano is basically making the same movement, just raising the G up an octave. Once again, doing that famous Dave arpeggio, where it's like a minor second up and then a fifth up. And then he goes... And then he comes in with the, so he ends it on E, you know? Which is pretty nice. And then he does this synth, which is like, this synth is has a higher resonance than the other one, than the regular sawtooth. This is a different synth. So he had two synths in here. One with a high, that's like this one has pretty high resonance. Actually, the resonance is like 50%, which is high for a synth. But this one is like, that one's like really high resonance. This is like 75%. 75% resonance, so he's doing an even higher resonance. And he's doing that arpeggio again. But it's just sweeping the filter. So it's like, and then it has this hiccup, right? It goes down suddenly and then up suddenly and then continues the sweep. So he kind of like gave it a little bit of texture there. Yeah, right? Pretty cool. He does this nice filter sweep. And then we have but the notes are all staying the same. It's just those 3 consecutive arpeggiated notes. All your works are amazing. Thanks for being doing this all these years. You're welcome. Thank you again. You're welcome. Thank you again, Ganicus. Welcome to the stream. So then we have the piano again, but this is a different piano. This is the Sound Canvas piano. So it's not the Wave Station piano again. He uses a different sample for that. So it's the same thing, just an octave up, but then wait, we end with ending on that A this time. So we're kind of doing a C major 7 arpeggio there, except we're inverting it. But then suddenly we switch to A, which is not in the chord, so it's kind of like jolting as something different, you know. And I think at the point where we hit that E, we're kind of doing this. That's the A minor 7 moment. So we kind of have the E in that chord, so it is part of the chord. And then there, he also changes with the chord here, because at that point, when he goes, da, 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 that's an A minor 7, and he's hitting A on the piano. So that makes sense. And then he comes in with this melody, right? And he drops the bass out, actually. So and before you hear this bass, right? Second bass. String bass. And then he drops it out to make room for the melody. So then you come in with this sax. This epic sax melody. Na, 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 na. And that's from the Korg wave station. It was only one note that really sounded like that in the wave station. It was kind of like a really growly note, and then he just picked that one spontaneously, you know. Na, 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 na. So this melody, let's see what this is kind of doing in context of the chord. Here we have F7 in the first bar there. So it makes sense that he's hitting this E. And then he goes down to, you know, it's a G, so that makes sense that he would hit the G. So basically he's hitting the top of the chord so far. And then he goes back down an octave and then up. Dun, dun, dun. And at this point we have we have E minor 7. So now he's hitting the third here. He's in the melody. And then what do we do here? We go to, oh, what's the next chord? I forgot already. Oh, it's the A minor 7. Which this is puzzling. This is different because he's hitting a D here. Or is that where the A minor hits? Yeah, for some reason he's hitting a D here. So this is like, that's different. Yeah. Which I suppose that could be considered the 9, 11. That could be the 11th. So I guess that's the 11th of the chord he's hitting. Or it'd be better down here. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Stretching it a little bit, but you know. And then at this point he switched, like we go to what was it? G major. So, and now he's hitting a C, so that's kind of puzzling, right? Which is, once again, I think that's an 11th. Yeah, okay, so he's still continuing with the 11th. And this was originally supposed to be the underwater level for DK2. But it got turned into this. Hola, saludos desde Chile. Gracias por todo. De nada. Bienvenido, Franco. Bienvenido, Franco. Yo, that piano sounds a few seconds ago with that DS boot up. Ah, they use the same. Yeah, that makes sense. They would use the same one for the DS, like the DS, because that's Roland sound canvas is used all over Nintendo stuff. And I think yeah, it was removed in the Switch version. Wow, was it really crazy? How do you remove this? Okay, and then we go into And this is in the context of F again. So we're hitting the third. Dun, dun, dun. Now we're back on. Now we're hitting the fifth of G there with this D. And then you have this counter or this column response with the trumpet in the background, right? Trumpet basically repeats that part. This is a mute trumpet sample from the Kurzweil K2000. And so basically still going with that. What is this for this? Yeah, this is basically still G. And then he goes, he does that octave again with the G. You know, da. Just like he did before in that same part in the chord progression. You know, he does this octave again, basically that same bar. And but this time he goes up instead of down. So up to this time he's mostly been going down. You know, he's making these big jumps up and then walking down. So he's kind of getting this theme of like, okay, he starts here. Makes this big jump down and up, and jump down and up, and then he walks down slowly, walks down again, jumps up, and then he walks down slowly, and then makes this big jump up and walk. And now he's actually walking up instead. So da da. So at this point in the song, what chord are we hitting here? I think we're hitting, this is the E minor 7 part. So we're hitting that third in the melody. And here's our A minor walk down. So this time we're hitting that ninth here. And then we go to, I think this is just a regular G. So we mostly hit the root here, actually. And then we go back down to that F, and we hit the third. But actually, I think we switched to a different kind of chord progression here. Let's see, yeah. Yeah. So we do something a bit different here to end us off here with that melody. We do something a bit more grand. So in the melody, we're going to D. I mean, in the bass. In the bass, we're going from D to, let's hear it by itself. We're climbing. We're walking up from like diatonically. D, E, F, G, A. And then he ends on this A, because this is a new section here. This is where we start to come in with the drums. So he's kind of like doing a slow resolution sort of up to that A minor, you know. So no, yes, it's only in the Wii U version. The Switch version is replaced with Funky Kong music. What? That's insane. Why would they do that? Damn, I enjoy your updated Stickerbush Symphony restoration. Thank you for that, my friend. You're welcome, Grandmaster Azure. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so we're doing this like nice dramatic walk up from D to A. So basically, it's the slowest resolution ever, right? We're going from 5, 6. No, it actually would be 4. Starting from 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Yeah. So, and then in the but then what does the chords reflect? Because the chords are gonna reflect that reflects the bass reflects the root, but the chords reflect the character. Okay, so we have F here, which means that with the bass we have a solid D minor 7, and then we have here we're doing C major, so that brings it up to C major over E. And then we have, what is this? We have just a regular F. And then we go to G. Just a regular G. So basically we have D minor 7. and then C over E, and then F, oh, and then F just regular. And then we have just G. But there's a G in the treble too. So it has like this rising feeling, right? Like it's like we're rising up, and he's rising it to a climax, so to speak. So he's building a little bit of tension here. I like each time the bass goes do 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 do. It's so difficult to type with do 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 do. Yeah, do 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 do. You mean that? Oh, you mean that higher octave, right? The do 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 do. Yeah, that octave jump. He really likes to it really serves to change the rhythm without actually changing the rhythm. So we have straight 16th notes here, but he kind of gives it an accent by going up an octave. Pretty cool. And so here we kind of resolve. You can hear this resolution here. We kind of do. And then he kicks us all back to the beginning, right? And so in the melody here, we're kind of doing. Do da dum dee. Wait, where is the okay. So we're kind of outlining that that C major chord, and we're doing thirds here too. Like we have 3 notes here. So he's kind of shifting rhythmically certain parts in thirds. So he's kind of promoting interest, right? Like, so when do we do that? Here we do that. You see how it doesn't align with the grid? If we put it in a third of a beat, it lines up perfectly because he's switching the without changing the rhythm overall. He's switching the rhythm of the sax, going from normally being in regular 4/4 to being in like 3 in triplets on certain parts, right? So right here we have it, right here we have it, and then we have it here again, and then we have it right here again and here again. So pretty much in the same place every time. You can here, check that out. Done, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So it's like that. That's called a polyrhythm. That really, like, he's doing it. He's using thirds against the 4/4 rhythm of this bass, and it'll become even more apparent whenever we have the drums in there. So yeah, pretty much, he's outlining a sort of outlining a C major 7 chord, a C major chord here. It's kind of funny because we have D minor here, D minor 7 here, so that would be like 9, 11. Cool, so we're really getting a lot of harmonics here. Da, da. And then we go to, what do we have? E? Da, 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 da. And once again, we're going to a 9th here too, because A is we're resting on A, and oh no, that's the next chord though. So basically, we're kind of getting a little bit going out of the chord here, right? We're implying a C major chord a little bit, right? And then we go to G. So that makes this a 9th here. So right, so we're keeping the melody doing those extended harmonies, the 9ths and 11ths, to give it really some power, some soul. Pretty cool. Nice. And then we go. So here at this point we have a what do we have here? This is funny because so we're in G here, but we're kind of implying an E minor 7 chord. And then we resolve to A, where we play the 5th over here. And then we finish off with that one E note. So you can hear that all in tandem here. Oh, wait, no, that's too far. Na na, na na. It's also interesting how he gives us a rest from all those melody, and he lets us hear the just the harmony for one bar. Then he comes in with the sax. He doesn't just start it right out. Let's see. Really appreciate the work you do. Would you mind commenting on what you've been changing with the upload restorations? Are you using higher quality samples, readjusting the volume balance? All of the above. I am readjusting things. It's probably been, I mean, I've been updating these steadily over the course of a long time, but YouTube doesn't allow me to update the audio. So every couple of years, I just upload a new video if it's too far back. If there's a lot of them are like, those are so old that like I got better samples, like it's like more accurate samples. Like they had some samples in the old videos that are just like, now I realize that definitely wasn't the source that he used. So now I got more accurate stuff. Particularly the drums in this song in the old video were not correct. So I swapped those out, and I've done numerous mixing improvements from volume leveling to like EQs and effects and stuff like that, and like it manipulated the envelopes. Just so much stuff, too much to do, too much to say. But anyway, glad you enjoy it. Now let's hear this. In my opinion, this is the perfect level music for some learning for learning the long and arduous late game levels. Yes, exactly. So let's hear this this melody as a whole now. Yeah. So notice how he uses those polyrhythms to build tension, kind of. So we sort of have we have a polyrhythm right here. Up till then it's all just 4/4, right? Goes up, build that tension. And this is like this is an extended harmony for that G there. This is like, oh no, it's still the G, but he's going up high. He's doing this high wailing note, and so that gives us a little bit of power, tension. And so then he gives us this polyrhythm. No, actually he gives us this polyrhythm here to build more tension. He gives us 2 polyrhythms there. So those are building tension. Every time we hear that, it's like it makes it danceable. It makes it particularly contrasting, because it's contrasting with this bass, right? It's like we have solid 4s, so you have 16th notes here, and you have 3rds here. So you can kind of hear how he's building tension here. Not only is he using polyrhythms, he's going back to those polyrhythm, those 3rds. He's also climbing ever so slowly up higher, and then da na 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 na, so we can really hear that wailing sax note. And then he removes the tension here, and we here at this point we drop down, right? We're using a lower chord, lower melody note. Though it's still wailing, because this is like the 11th of the chord, right? So it's actually, no, he's on D minor 7 here, so he's actually on the 5th, but it's still a good note. So we've started down here, and we're just constantly rising. Even the melody is rising. So he's building tension that way. Pretty good, pretty genius way of writing. And then we finish off this entire piece, this tension, with this. Then he removes the tension here, and we come in with the drums. And here in the drum beat, we have so we have the snares hitting on 2 and 4, and then we kind of do some syncopation in the middle with the kicks. The kicks are getting like syncopated. We're not hitting any 3 here, so we're kind of making it unstable in the middle there. But the hi-hats are hitting the 3. Hi-hats are hitting all over the place. Nice. So this is going for it. We got the same thing. We're going back to that rhythm again. And then what are we doing in the bass here? I think we're doing something completely different. So now I think we're just sticking to oh no, we're doing the same thing in the bass as we were doing in the beginning. We're going from A to C. Okay, and then are we doing something different in the chords now? Kind of. We're doing less movement. We're doing like, whereas before it was like, no, wait, what did he do? Yeah. So instead of doing that, he's now keeping the G on the same note, right? To give it less movement. Because when he was doing this in the beginning, he made it go up considerably to give it this sense of wonderment, right? It's like, suddenly even the top note is rising, right? And it's doing that, and by doing that, you're sort of making this uplifting feeling, and then you're going back down. So it's kind of like floating because it's going up and then going back down. But then in this part, since we already, he sort of does that in the beginning to give us this sense of wonder from like first seeing the stage. I almost forgot about this riser. We have another aquatic ambient style riser. This is the string sample. All the while, it's constantly rising. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 octaves. He's going up 4 octaves with this thing. Pretty cool. But then once we get here, we roll back to sort of this Foss loop. He keeps on doing the. He gives it less movement now because we're already used to the stage. We just kind of need to hang there. He doesn't want us to give this sense of wonderment as like before. Hey, Nintendo TV 64, welcome. So one instrument was the sax. Was the other instrument an oboe? No, the other instrument was a muted trumpet. This is the muted trumpet from the Kurzweil K2000. It's definitely a muted. An oboe would be, an oboe doesn't have that sort of tinny sound like the mute trumpet does. Let me see if I can find that. Ah, here it is. Oh, that's in with the drums. Let's see. Channel 1. An oboe would have sounded more like something like this. Dum 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 dee, dum 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 dee. See, it's darker here, so there's not as much happening in the high treble. It's mostly happening in the mid-range. It has a very nasally sound, which happens because the second 2 frequencies are louder than the fundamental frequency. Whereas the mute trumpet has a strong fundamental, but the treble is even stronger, right? It's the Kremling alarm. Take cover. Right? It's funny. I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Okay, so we have this. It starts over again. Actually, it does. He does give us the no. This is the perfect start. So we don't. He doesn't give us this sense of wonderment again. He just gives us hanging in there, so we can hear the drum beat. Right. And not only that, but instead of going up in the bass like we did before, he first goes down in the bass, right? So that gives us this sense of relaxation, right? Because we just had this really tense and powerful and passionate melody. Now we're sort of relaxing instead of like floating. So it's like it's a nice chill out section. But we're also enjoying the beat, right? And then he gives us this melody, this rhythm again. Good afternoon, bro. Thanks for the class. You're welcome, bro. Welcome to class. I'll be your teacher. So we come in with this melody again, right? There are this rhythm. Familiarity. And now we have the same basic melody, but with the guitar. Now this is the guitar from the core. It's a santur, actually. They call it a santur, or like a dulcimer, if you like that better. But it's basically like a pluck string instrument. Pretty cool string instrument, the dulcimer. Hammered, I think most people play it hammered. But it echoes this out, right? It's the same chord progression as before, with the F to E to G to A minor. And so he does this. So doing a little bit of different stuff from the sax instead, whereas the sax held the note more, this one is using more notes. And the reason why he's doing that is because it's because now that there's a drum beat, you don't really want all this soulful like legato stuff here, these long notes. You kind of want something that goes with the rhythm that's a little more rhythmic. So that's why he's using this guitar instead of the sax. Because the guitar is a little more rhythmic, it's got a strong transient pluck to it, and he can do more notes with it and have it feel natural. So it's all to like, because now at this point in the song he's like switching to more of a beat, right? And he still keeps that walk up, right? He still keeps that same walk up from before. Give us some familiarity because that walk up was just so good the first time. Then he comes back in with the mute trumpet. Na 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 na. Same chord progression as before, and this time he comes in and repeats that same chord, the final chord progression with the D, D, E, F, G, A. But he doesn't give us that A this time to finish it off. He goes back down to D, and then he drops out the rhythmic synth bass, right? And then he just and then what are we doing here in the we're doing something a little bit different here in the pads. So we're still doing that D minor 7 to E minor to F to but then instead of hitting that A and hitting that G there, we make the G late. The G is late, so we sort of hold it off because we're expecting it there, right? But he doesn't give us that expectation. He makes us wait half a bar, and then he gives us that G. It's like, oh, dun. And then we go back down to A, so we're repeating the beginning again. So pretty cool. And not only that, but he drops out the kick and the snare because we have to lead it back into the part where there's no drums, right? So he drops out the snare and he keeps the hi-hats going for some rhythmic value. And then he brings back that string bass. He's kind of like bringing it back to the original, and then yeah, pretty cool. Great song. Hammered dulcimer is probably my favorite string instrument. I love dulcimer. Oh, I love the dulcimer too. Play it hammered. Yeah, you have like a little. They get like if you buy a dulcimer, they give you a little hammer. It's like a little tiny mallet, tiny little mallet, wooden mallet, and you just ding 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 ding, dun dun ding dun dun, dun 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 dun. Kind of like you would play a marimba, you know. Pretty cool. Good instrument. It's a shame it's so hard to find, right? And so expensive. Yeah, okay, so that concludes it for this song. Now, what do we want to do? What did I say I was going to do next? Probably Flight of the Zinger. Let's do Flight of the Zinger. There's not a lot of stuff going on in Flight of the Zinger. It's more of a lounging theme, so this should be quick. Let's see. Flight of the Zinger. What is FL2? Okay, there we go. It works like a harpsichord, but you hammer the strings directly. Ah, yes. That is true. Tis true. Na, 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 na. Okay, so we have this arpeggio here, right? This really wild arpeggio, and this, I think, was inspired by a This was inspired by an actual patch on the Korg wave station. Let me see if I can find that patch. It was called Beehive. Funny enough, so he just saw the word bee. He knew that he was doing something for a beehive, and then he was like, "Oh, there's a patch for that." Where is that beehive patch? I don't know if I can even find it. Let's see. It's like somewhere in the somewhere out there. Somewhere out there. Is it there, or was it all just a fantasy? Was it all just a fantasy? Mm-hmm. 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 Huh. Really? It's not there. I know it's here somewhere. Let me see if I can find the patch. Wave station beehives. Oh well, can't find it. But anyway, this thing uses 3 different samples from the wave station. It's 3 different muted guitar samples. So it's like when you play a guitar and you kind of mute the string with your finger, but you still pluck it, it plays like a muted sound. So he used 3 different ones of these. There's like 3 different plucks. They all have a little bit of a different strength to them. So this one's like the most muted. This one's like fully muted. This one's like half muted. This one's like lightly muted. Right? So he kind of uses these randomly, like triggers them randomly. But you can see that this riff, OMG Flight of the Zinger, my favorite song from DK2. Wow, good. Yeah, lucky you. Good. I'm glad we're going through this. Then you'll get your fill. Nice. Welcome, Breno. Is the DK singing on the shopping? Okay. Let's see. So this riff, we're doing two E's here, right? So, and then we go to A, no, B, and then back to E. And then we go down, so another perfect fourth. Then we go back down to these two E's. So we have... And then we go up a little bit, right? We're doing from B to D. Down from A to another B. And then we go all the way up to E, this high E here. And then we do a little 3-note walk down. Wait. So it's a lot of it is like it's sort of a minor pentatonic scale. But we don't even use the G. So we mostly just use like all these E, A, B, D, and then it's all E's and A's and B's and D's. So it's mostly an arpeggio or like a sequence, kind of like Deadmau5 used to do. He would have like an ostinato. Technically an ostinato, it's like a sequence. Nice. So that pretty much repeats for the whole song. And this is like another, just like with Stickerbush Symphony, we have he likes to start out with this one motif that just goes through the whole song, right? It only stops at this one point when we have this like break here, but then it keeps on going, right? So, and then we have this bass. Oh, let's see what y'all are saying. Hi, Sam. How are you? Hi, Retro Lover. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm good. Flight of the Zinger is also an oldie in the playlist. You should update this one. The reverbs and effects. Yes, I think it might have the same reverbs. I'm probably using Realm. And yeah, I think I'm using different reverbs and effects. Oh no, I'm using TSAR 1R. Yeah, we can update. I'm not sure what exactly I've changed, how much I've changed in this one. This probably hasn't changed too much, but I can maybe update that one for the next one. The 2024 mix of Clomps Rop sound incredible. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it. Part of the Zinger is also yeah. Okay. So this bass, what bass note are we hitting here? Probably E. Yes, E, because we're all E everything so far. And then we have this drum. This drum is actually the power snare from Crocodile Cacophony. He just pitches it down, so it sounds like a bass drum. So we're playing like C. So we're kind of going down in major thirds here. Even though there's no actual tune to this, it's all just noise. But it's the distance that counts. Right? Pretty cool. So, and then he gives us this nice drum riff, right? It's like and then we come in with these chords, right? Ooh. Yeah. Love those. I put a chorus here. Oh yeah. See if that kind of washes it out. But it's worth it, I think. But anyway, we have E minor here. Which is expected given that we're definitely in E with this piece, E minor. And then we go down to D major. But the bass stays the same, so we're technically... It's kind of, it's technically E minor 9, 11. 7, 9, 11, yeah. If you want to get really technical, it's functionally it's not that. It's just like, it's just D major over E. And then he goes down to C. So it's C major over E. And then he does this D major, which is interesting. So he's kind of breaking the scale here, right? And this is an illusion of what's to come, right? So you have... And this is kind of a common thing to do in like salsa music or tango music. It's like they do da 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 da. All right, it's better to do this on the... No, they would do where's my marimba? Which is kind of how the Zelda, the original Zelda theme goes, right? Because it's like something like that, but the chord progression is basically the same in the scale of B flat minor. So it's like... something like that. Is that lead guitar sample a lap steel guitar? Oh, you mean that feedback guitar? No, that's an electric guitar. But that hasn't come in yet. Oh, yeah, actually, it's next. So then we come in. So after those chords, we come in with a more regular beat, right? And a marimba in the bass. I call this marimba bass. Right. So this is the wave station marimba, and we're just playing really deep bass notes on E. We're hitting that E pretty hard. Ba 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 ba. So this is a feedback guitar, right? We use this in aquatic ambience, and it's just it's an electric guitar run through an amp. That is, and they do. I don't know how they create feedback. But you know how whenever you hear an electric guitar, it has like this feedback effect sometimes. This is literally just the feedback effect. So it's a very warm sound. Basically just distortion, like I think it's something to do with the electric guitar signal feeding back and forth through the amp in a feedback loop, and it creates this like double distortion sound. So that's kind of the sound he's using there. I believe that's called the Andalusian scale. Yeah, Ice Cap Zone's themes also had this, if I recall. Ice Cap Zone, isn't that the one that's like... That's just straight minor. So... That's just a straight minor thing. But it's very happy too, so it's kind of like... God, I don't know what the Andalusian theme is. I'm not up to date on all the exotic foreign scales. Pretty much like that. That is, yeah. That I don't think that's in any other scale than minor, because we're using basically. So if it's that, it's we're using C minor, B flat major, A flat major, back to B flat major, and then C back to C minor, E flat major, and then so this is basically like we're doing in the key of D sharp major, we're doing 6, 5 4 5 6 1 5. So that's just basic pop chords, except we're using what is the weird one there? 6 5 4 5 6 5 or 6 1. It's basically just pop chords, but played really fast. So there's not really very much. If that's the theme you're talking about, there's not really very. There's no weird. Definitely no weird scales going on. I live in a city right in the heart of the Amazon. Listening to DKC's music in contact with nature has an unparalleled connection. Ooh, you are living life, my friend. Man, I want to go to the Amazon and listen to some of those tunes. It would be amazing. I have to visit the Amazon. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of places I have to visit. Finally watching this live. Let's go. Welcome, Poketo. Yeah. Yes. Welcome, Dark Dragon. All right. So this, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on here. You know, nothing special. It's like we're doing a G, you know, sliding down to F sharp. So in F sharp, if we're sticking to the E chord, it's in the scale of E minor. But F sharp, if we're sticking to the chord, like that E chord, it kind of sounds weird in the context of all these E's going on because it's a minor second away from E. And you could say that it's like, you could say that we're doing in this context a E sus2 chord, but it still sounds pretty jarring. So to go from G to that, he's kind of building tension. It's kind of standing out because it doesn't really work too well with the E, with all the E's floating around there. And then we go from D. This also doesn't work too well with E because it's a major second away on the other side. But then, so he's keeping the tension going here, and then he's going back up to actual E. So he's kind of resolving the tension there. So he's building tension, like playing around with this E, and then like resolving it. So pretty cool. Nice. As far as, well, I must go. Take care and stay musically inclined, whether you are not. Right? Hey, yeah. Have a nice night. Well, as far as I know, the Andalusian scale is just a cadence based on. Oh, okay. So we're talking about the same thing. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's a different ice cap zone. But yeah, this is basically like. So we're sort of making this B home, so it's like a B Phrygian scale. But then you also have this part here, this D sharp doesn't belong. So it's kind of, I think kind of maybe the Andalusian scale that you're alluding to, maybe it's that like B, C, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Something like that, maybe. And that would also be, it's also kind of borrowing from blues, right? Because blues has this, blues kind of also has that. Oh, it's the Andalusian cadence, not scale. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Andalusian cadence. Wow, there's an actual name for that. I did not know that. Cool. Okay, so then we start. So he does this thing with the electric guitar, right? And then we start doing some higher pitched drums, right? And then he hits this break. So he's keeping it interesting here, right? Like he's always having something thrown out at you, something new every 2 bars, or every 4 bars or so. So, and then we have this break where we're doing some fun stuff here. The bass goes up to B, the 5th of the scale. So we're kind of doing a resolution here, right? It's like, so we're going up to 5. And then let's see what else is happening. And then in the snare we have these 2 notes. Wow, 2 notes at once. Nice. We have these 2 notes here, so we're having it's like a big hit to finish it off. Finish off the break. And then what do we have here? We have a string note, which I can't play because it's not actually even playing for some reason. Wow. Okay. You say so. First time I've had something like that happen. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, it's probably muted. FL Studio probably like turned off the volume. Oh, this plugin failed to load. Wow, so stupid. Okay, so this is like, I hate when WaveStation does that. It just like I think I have too many wave stations loaded in at once. So I kind of just have to put a sample in there. Put the sample. Did you study music science or something like that? No, I didn't. I studied it on my own time, but not in school. You know, I kind of just searched around on YouTube for videos and tutorials and stuff. Didn't really do it in a professional setting. Okay, so we have that F sharp note there. Definitely not the right note. I don't know why that's there. I think it's like a bad note. We'll just read that out for now. Let's see, it's probably either E or... Oh, wait a minute. I think the... Oh, look at that. It's like the pitch is not, it's not tracking. Weird. Let me save that sample. Wow, FL Studio is stupid today. Look at how long it's taking. And then it's probably got some attack on it, right? And then it fades out somehow. Actually, I don't even remember that being there. I'm inclined to say that's not actually there. Or we can check the MIDI. That's the bass. And then this is one of the... I can't really tell. But I can't really tell. I don't care. Anyway, the point is... So we have that bass, that B in the bass, and then what do we have here? We have a diminished chord on an A diminished chord. But it's an inverted, so instead of the D sharp being on top, it's on the bottom. So he's kind of building tension with this B. So it's basically B. So he's kind of alluding to B minor 9, B major 9 half diminished, right? Which is what I think this string was about. That's why this string was playing F sharp. Because it's kind of doing a big diminished chord, and since it has a diminished thing on top, it's really making it sound like mysterious. It's like, whoa. You know, it like really jumps up and takes you. Let me see. Yeah, we'll leave it in there for now. Oh, and then we come up with this nice melody. So what's going on here? Let's check out our bass. Back from work and it's Sam streaming. Hey, welcome, not Bootstrap. Happy getting off of work. I heard a Frenchcore remix. So, wow, Frenchcore, that's a thing. Is it like French folk music with a hard techno beat in the back? I heard a Frenchcore remix of this show. I also did a few myself on DKC. Nice. Yeah. So this now we have in this melody we have the bass going from E rising up to F sharp to A to B to D sharp, and then going back down as it repeats. So it repeats that twice. Now what is the now the bass and then marimba is also coming back and doing that same thing. Right, so it does that, and then it goes down an octave to when it goes to E, A. Right. Pretty cool. So then we have that beat in the drums coming in, right? And then, of course, we have our obligatory guitar, muted guitar, repeating the same way as always. And it doesn't matter that it's not necessarily changing with the chord progression. It's so familiar now, we don't mind if it's a little bit like out of the chord. And so what do we have going on here? We have no chords, which is unusual. You know, we're just doing the melody and the bass, basically. Cool. Fortunately, this melody is pretty. He's establishing chords very strongly here, right? Which is probably because he did that because he didn't feel he needed to have chords. Maybe because the melody is already outlining chords. So what are we outlining here? This looks like E minor. So, and in the bass we had E minor. So we had an E. So I'd say that's solidly E minor on the chord here. And then these three notes all make up D major. And what did we have in the bass? We had a F sharp. So it's D minor, it's a E minor to D major over F sharp. And then we switched to here. The line almost appears the same, but it's not quite the same. Instead of a B starting out here, we have a C. And so that means, so that's C. And then in the bass we have A at this point. So that means it's A minor 7. Cool. And then we have so that looks like D major again, you know, just without the D. And then I forget, what is the next one we're doing? We're doing okay, so I think at this point we're doing a B here. So that would be sort of B minor 7. Well, at least for here, but like I think we start out doing, we do just the B, yeah, and then at halfway through the bar, we go to, so this is basically B minor 7, switching up to, ooh, we have a tritone here. We just have a straight up tritone because it's like the bass is playing D sharp, and then the melody is playing A. So he's ramping up. He's doing a tritone here for that return to the beginning of the chord progression. He's building up tension here as much as possible. So it could also be considered that B diminished. That B like major diminished. You know, B7, B major 7 half diminished. Nice. So it sounds like what we have is, so what we have in the chord progression is so far is like, we have E minor to D major over F sharp, and then he goes to A minor 7, and then he goes to B major 7, no, B major, and then he adds that extra harmonic on top of the melody to build tension. So it's right, so he's kind of doing, and then back up to E. Right? And then so in the melody, he's once again outlining this E major chord even more consonantly. Outlining D major, right? He's going way up to this high E over here. Instead of going down, he goes way up to be this big major minor 6th jump. Ooh, and then he further establishes that B major, right? And this last part is interesting. The way he chooses to end it is interesting because it reminds me of "Enjoy the Silence." That's that song "Enjoy the Silence." He ends it in that same way. He's like I think in some versions of the song it ends like that with "Enjoy the Silence." Pretty cool. Is this the horny level I just joined? I would not use those words, but yes, is it? Oh, the honey level. Oh, I can't read that. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, this is the honey level. Honey. What was that? So that Pink Floyd song? Money, honey. Dun, 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 honey. I forgot the rest of the words to that song, but that would make a great parody as honey. Love that string slash piano combination, right? A lot of. I think the reason why he did that was because a lot of keyboards have have patches that combine the strings and piano. So a lot of like a lot of keyboards had a patch like that, strings plus piano. Hope it wasn't right. This is the bass also reminds you of the hidden world of DKC. Oh yeah, the DKC3 where they had that boom. I think he had that same string bass in there. Oh no, I think that was the DKC3 strings. Yeah. All right, welcome. That was welcome. Great introduction to first joining. That's funny. That's my bad. My mistake. So then it's cool, pretty good. Bro, we've always loved how he goes straight, like he goes dun dun dun, and then he does da dun, really catches your ear like that, right? Doing that big jump is bold, and then putting it down a half step and doing it again is even bolder. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's pretty much that song. Like then he just goes straight back to the beginning. So that was pretty quick. We've only been here like an hour and 15, so that's cool. So now let's move on to Disco Train. Disco Train should be even shorter. There's not most of what Disco Train has to say. I have to say about Disco Train is probably going to be sound design because it's very much a sound design centric piece. Oh, this is what I was missing. Okay. Disco Train. Bell Studio slow like that. Do 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 do. Na 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 na. So soulful, such a soulful melody. Dave is like the king of soulful, like he like R&B type melodies, pretty cool. Do-dee, do-do-do-do-do-do-dee. Yeah. Okay, so first thing we have to, there's no bass to start out, so I think the lowest thing we have here is pretty cool. He's starting out panning it left, and then he starts switching the panning. Why did I use the LFO to do this? I would not have used the LFO to do this there. Yeah, he kind of does a sweep there, you know, from left to right. And meanwhile, opening up the filter cutoff in the synth, right? Pretty cool little octave change here. He seems to do that a lot with his synths. Do some octave stuff. Okay, so, and then, so what note is this, by the way? This is G. So we're starting out in G, for sure. And then, we have these strings. Ooh, nice strings. Gotta open with some, like, flush strings, right? Well, so what are we playing here? We're doing G dominant 7, and the bass supports this. And then we go down. So now we have like a straight up B flat major. But in the bass, we still have G. So this is technically something with G. It's technically still G dominant, but he's changing the voicing around. And then what are we doing here? We're doing some fun stuff now. So here we have C dominant. So we're going from G dominant, basically going from G dominant to C dominant. No. Yeah, so this is C dominant, just inverted. But in the bass, we still have G, so it's technically like C dominant over G. Who's counting? And then we do some even more fun stuff. Here, what is this? This is just G dominant again, but with different voicings. So we're doing kind of like what we did in Mining Melancholy, where he went. Oh, what did he do? And then he kept going from like this. He did D dominant here, right? Da 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 da. No, D minor 7. D minor 7. Oh no, that's not even this is not even dominant. This G minor. This is G minor 7. It would be dominant if it's major. So this is D minor 7. So he's doing the same thing, right? He's going from D dominant 7 or D minor 7 to G minor 7. So he keeps bouncing from 1 to 5 basically in G. And but here he's doing it a little bit differently. No, because he's doing it in D. Here he's doing it in G, right? And C is the 5th of G. Wait, no. So, oh yeah. G is the 5th of D in Mining Melancholy, and here C is the 5th of G. So he's basically just switching from 5 to 1 like he did, like 5 to 1 with 7ths like he did in Mining Melancholy. He's like kind of making a riff out of it, right? Yeah. So basically, no. Yeah. Basically doing that same thing. G minor 7, B flat, C major. It's G minor 7 to C major 7. Yeah, that's it. It is like, so it is C dominant. He's doing that. And I think he's doing it with with G dominant in Mining Melancholy. So basically, just like Mining Melancholy, we're establishing this piece in G Dorian, I think? No. In G Lydian. Or mixed Lydian. I can never remember which. I think it's mixed Lydian, probably. The one that, so we're tonicizing G and G, but if this was G minor, we'd be using a D sharp here instead of an E. So the fact that we're using an E and we're establishing home in G minor, in G, points to G Mixolydian, just like Mining Melancholy was in D Mixolydian. So we're kind of doing the same sort of thing. Yeah, we're the best video game soundtracks of all time. Yeah, damn straight. So that's cool. We're pretty much doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh, look, we have more. But wait, there's more. Then we do a straight F major, except that we still have that G in the bass. So it's like, and then we're going back to C dom. Basically the same thing, right? Just different voicing. So it's very simple. He just plays with the voicing a lot. That's the genius of this. And then he comes in with the kicks, right? And we have this square. More playing with octaves. You know, he likes to do that with the synths. Play with the riffs and octaves. D minor, Mining Melancholy. No, it's not. It's a D Mixolydian. Because in Mining Melancholy, we go... Wait, no. No, I think it is solidly D minor. It's not modal in my... No, he's just doing modal play in Mining Melancholy. So most of the piece is in D minor, but in Mining Melancholy we do da 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 da. So the fact that we hit this B here breaks the D minor scale. But it is in D Mixolydian. if we go... Right? So that's kind of what he's doing there. Actually, no, would it be D Dorian, or it would be... Let's see, Dorian is like... I think it is Dorian. Not sure. I don't know my modes that well. Yes, not all the time. Most of it is in D minor. Yeah, sometimes so maybe it's not all the time with this one either. Maybe he's doing the same thing, just starting off in a little bit of a modal interchange. And we also have some synths here. What are we doing with these synths? We're playing in power chords, right? We're playing in parallel fifths, which I think this is the first time he's done this. I've never seen him do that before. Like playing in straight power chords. So now we do have that full G minor. So we are using... Wow, so we're using... This part is in G minor. He's using both that E and the D sharp at the same time. That's pretty interesting. Da, da, da. This is that really high resonance. So basically he's going... So we have... Da, da, da. No. Yeah. No. So we're basically going from like... Oh yeah, that's where the riff comes from. Let's see. We hit like the G power chord here. So that G power chord here is kind of surprising, right? It breaks the arpeggio. And then we go to even more with even more breakage. We do like a D natural. And then we go back up to that. We go back up to that A sharp there. And then we do the D again. Dun, dun, dee, dun, dun. Nice. So it's kind of a nice way to do give a little bit more emotion here, right? Okay. So he starts out doing power chords to give us some like power, I guess, but then he switches it out for more echoes, right? And then this song takes strong inspiration from a club song called "We Are Going On Down" by the Deadly Synths. So if you look that up, you'll be able to hear it immediately. Like they play this riff with a bell melody, and it's like it's not in power chords, like dun 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 dun, albeit without as much interestingness to it. Yes, not all the time. Yes, all right. Oh yeah, that's earlier. Okay, so then we go into he introduces the kicks, right? This kick is like has a bit of an 808 bass to it, right? Because what he does is it holds the note, right? So it holds the note down there. And so he's playing it in D sharp, so it basically... No, it doesn't clash because this is a sub bass and this synth is like high enough up. Yeah, this synth is high enough up there where it's like not going to interfere with this bass. Yeah. So we basically have a bass in D sharp. Okay. And once again, look at that. We have this riff repeating through the whole song, pretty much. It only drops out for 4 bars. So there's his like same riff, the same kind of idea as Stickerbush Symphony. We have that riff that repeats through the whole song. And then he comes in with the beat, right? So we have a cool thing going on with the claps and the snares here. The snares are hitting on the claps are hitting on the 2 and 4 basically. Except that no, they're even more. It's like double timing. So it. Oh no, because the tempo is too slow here. This is actually the 2 and the 4. So you have to imagine that this is 2 bars. This is the 2 and it's sitting on the 2 and the 4, and then you have some snares around it. Just kind of and he's also hitting the kick every 4 beats instead of on 1 and 3. So he's kind of giving that double kick. So you have this fun stuff happening with the snares around the claps. So the things that the snare is doing, we're kind of giving it some see, it's not even, this is like a, oh wait, this is actually 1 step, but it's like tempo. So we're doing a lot of syncopation here, right? That's giving it danceability, because of course we're hitting on the on each quarter note, but we're also hitting some syncopated notes that's giving it this contrast, and it's giving it this danceability. It's pretty sounding. It is very pretty sounding. I agree. Very pretty. I heard that in your playlist. Never thought Dave found inspiration in that song. Ah. Echo transition sounds amazing. Never noticed that. Alright, it just goes so unnoticed. It's so easy not to notice. It's just like falls into the background really well. Right? So if you remove this, it would be pretty boring, right? It's like, well, of course now it's boring, but like, you remove that, it's just a typical disco beat. But if you bring back those, it breaks up the rhythm every now and then. And what do we have going on here? We have like a pitch bent synth here, right? It's going up and down. It's bending the pitch. Let me see if I can bring the pitch graph up here. Right, so it's going up and then sweeping back down. I have to drink my water. I'm getting a dry throat. Cool, so he's sweeping up and down a little bit, like making it sound like a roller coaster, like whoa. And actually in the 7 Deadly Sins song, this is originally was like people's voices saying whoa, whoa. And he rises it every time. So he makes it, so in addition to going up and down, it's actually rising overall. He's building tension that way. And then he breaks the tension and introduces a bass. What do we have going on here? Cool, so we kind of have a motif of going from G and this is also a theme in the 7 Deadly Sins song, but they only just went up. They didn't go down. They just did. They just kept doing that, but he actually goes. So it's a bit of up and down, you know, keep it interesting. And this is also, funny thing is, like, this also kind of reminds me of, you spin me right round, baby, right round like a record. It's that kind of that same motion, right? You go up and up a minor third. Kind of that same motion, right? So, you spin me right round, baby, right round. I love how that saute has a crisis every time it gets muted, right? What's your favorite song in DKC2? That would have to be Mining Melancholy. Yeah, I like the funkiness of it and all the clanging, you know, rhythmic clanging. Cool, so he basically brings that bass in, and it doesn't clash too much with the kick hitting the same note, you know? on D sharp. It actually does kind of clash a little bit. It's kind of a minimal clash. It's very subtle. You can kind of hear that dissonance there. It kind of makes you a little bit uneasy, right? If we were to, I would kind of debating about changing this to like changing this note here to be more BG with the bass. Like if we do, yeah, see how much better that makes it? It's actually a big difference. I might keep that. I think he might actually do that, and maybe I got that wrong. I don't know. Nice. So just like the with this saw square, it's like a cross between a saw and a square, right? Right, it's like a really, and he like it has a lot of detuning on this, like a lot of unison. Let's see, where is it? Ah, here it is. This is like a cross. See, it's like not fully. This would be a saw, and this would be a square, so it's kind of in between. And it's very detuned, right? You have two of them going on here, and one's like a little bit different. They're both a little bit different pitch. Followed by also, I think there's some chorus here too. Pretty cool synth. Oh, and here come the screams, the horrible screams. Cool. So this is literally just a female scream sample from a sound library. And he's echoing it out, and then he just goes like, he goes up in pitch, and then he goes, da, 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 da. Kind of makes it a little bit of melodic, you know? Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought those were like eagles in the background. Yeah, you know, like just an eagles soaring in the background. Funny. So if I was like doing a remake of this today, I would probably use. I found a sound library. Funny enough, there's something called the. Let's see. Where is it? Samples. The death whistle, Aztec death whistle. Yeah, so it's literally like a whistle that they uncovered from Aztec ruins. And I think it was like an alarm or a war whistle or something like that. And it basically just made the sound of a scream. That's what I would use if I was doing a cover of this. Hearing it without compression is freaky, right? And the screams, the horrible screams. Yeah. So he drops out the rest of the beat for this, so it kind of gives us a front and center. It's almost like he's dropping out the beat, and then you can hear the people screaming on the amusement park ride in the background, right? So it's kind of like he just drops out. And it's like, oh, now you can hear some environmental sounds because it's getting quieter, you know? And then he comes in with this synth here. Comes out with one more scream, right? And then you have that high resonance sense, just kind of opening up the filter into obscurity, right? Right, so this is just him opening up the filter. He's doing this. See, it's opening up there, right? And then he's basically just playing with the filter at this point. Because he's using it's also the high resonance synth. But he's playing with the filter in the sense that, see, it's like, it has this, he kind of did a sweep here, right? It's going up and up and up, but he has these random notes that he pushes down to the bottom. So he's sort of using it as like an articulator to like make a, like have some notes be bright and some notes be dark. Right, so he's kind of in the same way that he used the synth in Stickerbush Symphony in the bass, sort of change the context when you have the brightness going up. And it sort of makes it hard to hear the tune. The actual tune is going. Right, so it kind of obscures the pitch with all this warbling going on. And then he kind of, I think, does he actually use this, or did I just like put this as the way? Oh yeah, no, that isn't Express. I don't know why I still have that. So now he's just playing around with different bits, right? Then he goes back to the beginning. Pretty cool. Papa, me the E, pass. I'm past the E. It's time to roll. Sounds like a psychedelic rooster. Oh yeah, right. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Fun. Yes. All right. So let's move on to now. I said we would get to Forest Interlude, and then we might call it a day. We might be overtime. We'll see. We'll see how I feel after going through Forest Interlude. Let's load it up. Yeah, Forest Interlude. Ooh. I hate the level where you use the spider for most of it. Oh yeah. This was all Wave Station or M1. Definitely not M1. This was a lot of chord, a lot of Wave Station. I don't know, but it wasn't all Wave Station. There's some elements of other stuff in there, but it was mostly Wave Station. And but the synth he did not create with the Wave Station like this. It was a sound like this in the Wave Station, but he did this using his own synthesizer, Roland Juno Alpha. So, but the rest was most of it. And this talking drum was from the Roland SNU cards, the Roland U2 U110 cards, expansion cards. So that was not this. Yeah, some of these, most of these drums were not from the Roland, from the Chord Wave Station either. So a lot of it was from the Wave Station, but not all of it. Okay, so this bass is let's see, basically just doing doesn't really have much context yet, but that'll come in. So basically, and then with the strings, we have, what are we doing here with these strings? So we have C minor going up to C minor 7, right? And then we resolve down to B flat. Right, so we're kind of in Well, so with the bass in there, it's like we have the bass makes it G major 7, right? Because we have that G sharp in the bass. And then the bass moves down to F, and then the top note moves up to A, kind of widening it, right? So what is this chord? Now it looks like we have F minor 7, 9, 11. So we go straight from A flat major 9, major 7 to F minor 11. And then we go straight up to just B flat major. And it's kind of a resolution, right? Because F is the 5 of B flat, right? So it's kind of going from... It's kind of a resolution doing that. And then we hang on the B flat major for 2 bars, and then we start it over again. And then we're also doing this stuff up the top. What is this? It's like some... He kind of lags that bottom note there, but these 2 notes are mirroring basically what the strings are doing at the top. We just have them an octave even higher, so we're widening it up a little. Yeah, with most of the percussion is Roland, I do believe. So flash food alert incoming. Flash flood alert incoming. Ah. Oh. Tears up. Yeah, Webwoods. Ah, yeah, Webwoods. They call that one of those levels. Oh, that's what you're talking about with the with Forest Interlude, Webwoods. But they use the spider for stuff. Sounds like a pool full of liquor. Kendrick, just the bass. Oh, that's a song. Oh, okay, that's a song. Okay, I was wondering why you were like saying something about a pool full of liquor. Okay, and then he kind of lags. It's interesting how he kind of lags the lower voice here for some texture, you know? Didn't want it all to be at the same time. Okay, and then the synth is kind of outlining A flat major 7, so that first chord that we started out with, it's kind of outlining that, right? So basically it's outlining... Basically using that as an outline. And then finishing on the F for a little bit of a different texture. Yeah. Nice. So this melody here, so this comes in the context of C minor, right? Or no, A flat major 7. So we're hitting on the 7 here, the top note, and then we walk down to the 5th note there, so the 5th note of the chord. And it sort of sounds like the what's that Outfield song? Your Love by the Outfield. I just wanna use your love tonight. Tonight. I just wanna use your love tonight. Tonight. You know, something like that. And then he goes, so he's kind of playing around with that note, and it stays the same because, hey, we have in F minor 11, we still have that same sort of these 2 notes. So he's kind of playing around with those, playing around with these thirds jumps. And then he goes to F for that resolution, right? Because it's the 5th note, the 5th of that B flat major. And then he kind of does this trill, right? These really short notes back down to the root there. And then he opens up he has one of those synths, right? And he's just kind of gradually opening up, and it's doing like a little pentatonic walk up, right? And he repeats that melody again, but then at the end he does an even quicker, a little quicker trill here with 2 notes, and then he does those 3 notes back down there. It's kind of doing a bigger way to end it, you know? And then he go with that synth, he goes again, but he uses one of those more like Stickerbush, when he does the Stickerbush Symphony with the, you know? Right? So we go to that one, that Res Wave thing. We basically just sweeping it down. Yep. Okay, and then he goes to then he starts the intro. Then he brings in the, well, not only that, but at the latter half of this melody, he drops out the synth, right? Because the synth is still going. He drops out the synth and swaps it for a talking drum, right? A tabla. But except that a tabla can't really do this kind of thing, I don't think. It's usually just this. This is more like a talking drum. I feel like he's trying to emulate a talking drum here. It's like an instrument called a talking drum where you can change the pitch as you hit it and make it like talk, so to speak. So, and it has some echoes here, right? So we're kind of hitting. I think these like are not. Those are not representations of the actual pitch. So that's why we have C sharp here. Pretty cool. Talking drum. And that's the one that comes from the Roland cards. It's a Roland sample. And then we go into this drum beat here. What have we got going on here? Lots of stuff. So the funny thing here is that he starts out. All of them have weird pitch bends on here, right? I think he's pitch bent them all an octave up in this first bar here. And then when he goes to the second bar, it becomes more normal. See, and then you have it normal. So now you kind of hear the sounds here. We have this this snare. Just the normal snare, right? And then you have hi-hat. And then a cowbell. But it's pitched down low. That's the normal pitch right there. And then you have a bird sound, interestingly enough. Yeah. And you come in with another hi-hat. But a long one this time instead of a closed one. Then you have that pipe hit from DK1. And then you have this Fanta bell from the Roland U220. That glockenspiel. Yeah. And then we do a gyro with a sweep up. And then we have another bird tweet, right? Nice. Damn, I need to get my talking drum on. There you go. Get you one straight from Africa. Like one of those soft 80s rock groups. Ah, yes. REO Speedwagon. No, definitely not. Maybe it's similar to REO Speedwagon. I don't know. Non-quantized. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Glockenspiel goes hard, yes. Best song in the game. Okay, so we have that loop going on, and all the while the bass is doing some more rhythmic stuff now. So the bass goes to the same notes, but then it does this like walk up too. And it's still using that string bass, but it's making it sort of like a bass guitar. Dun 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 dun. And it's also just going straight up from 5 to 1 now. It's just going from F to 8 B flat. Which makes me think it seems like this piece is in C minor, but it might actually be in like F modal something. Oh, look, he starts out just going, yeah, sometime for the first few bars, right? He just goes from F to A, right? He does that for 3 times, and then he goes back to that. So why does he do that? Because and we still have, looks like we still have the same thing going on in the strings, except now they are just straight up hitting, whoa, what are they doing? Okay. So straight up, they're just doing C minor to B flat minor. So they're just kind of going up and down. They're kind of not going so big anymore, not for this part anyway. Once this, because this is basically like the chorus, right? So once the chorus ends, they just kind of they kind of get a little more docile, right? Cool, and you have this harmonica melody, which is also from the wave station. Everything but the drums is the wave station, and the synth. Synth is not wave station. So we have So once again, he's playing with the thirds, but instead of playing with he's playing with between C and E flat. And then he's finishing on that on the third of that B flat chord, right? So he's finishing on D, give it that finality, you know, and like just let that last chord kind of ring out. And once again, he's doing that like minor second to and then a fifth up thing. So, and with the... So it's kind of... It almost sounds like it's changing pitch when it does this, but it's actually just the filter thing opening up, right? Right? So then he goes... So he's like... Going back down again to that D to finish off. But then he's doing a walk down. Yeah. And he's walking down to the root of that chord, the B flat. And then he comes in with the chorus again. And then we open up those chords to do that same thing they were doing before, right? Now we have those that same, instead of just going from F to B flat. Yeah, right. It does sound quite a little bit like Ennio Morricone. And for this, he's not using the actual. I called it a harmonica because he sounds functionally like a harmonica, but in the wave station, it's actually it's actually a cello. So he's using a cello, but it sounds like a harmonica because of its tonal flatness. You know, the cello It'd be changing all over the place, but a harmonica just kind of stays the same, you know? So that's why it sounds like a harmonica. So, and then the interesting thing here is like, he hangs on this a bar later than he normally would, right? So there's normally only 2 bars here. Here he gives us an extra bar of that B flat to let that synth ring out. So he gives us a little bit of a break, right? And then he comes in with the next section because he gives us a little bit of a chance to like wind down. He's like removing tension. And then he brings in this next section. And so what is this next section doing? This next section, we have our bass here. So we're going from D, dum 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 dum, and this is actually a third movement. Even though it's an upper octave here, the D goes from dum 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 is going to the F. So it's actually rising in thirds, right? So we have D up a third is F, and then A, and then C. Right, so, and then so he just keeps going up in thirds. It's that movement. The thirds movements are generally not too jarring, right? They're very smooth. That's kind of why he's doing that here. Is there reverb or is it all just delay? There is delay as well. Yes, reverb and delay. There's both reverb and delay on all these. But I'm not using the reverb on the Chord Wave Station. I'm using my own reverb, TSAR1R. Yeah, soft tube thing. I never use the vintage reverbs because I try to use more modern ones as possible. Why is actually putting time into the sound of processing each instrument? This reminds me why I wrote a college report about his work. Oh, nice. Yeah. I could have written a report about his work in college. That's awesome. Great. That's a great idea. Post that report. I would read it. There you go. That was back in 2007. Oh, that's gone now. I never keep my papers either. So anyway, he keeps going in like a thirds rising loop here, you know. I think also Enjoy the Silence does this as well during the chorus, yeah. There's this rising thirds thing, so it's kind of like it's rising up, and it feels like a good rising, right? It's like very relaxing at the same time. And so at the same time, he sends the drums down an octave. So he pitches them down an octave, which is interesting, right? It's almost like we're changing key. Actually, we are changing key here, right? Because before, where we were in C minor, this A breaks that. So we're literally changing keys to D minor. So I feel like he's kind of accentuating that key change by sending the percussion down in pitch too. Everything is just down an octave. Pretty cool. Nice. And then we have this talking drum still doing its thing. And then we do so for the strings, cool. So he's basically like slowly descending these chords, right? So he's using minimal changes, right? Because in thirds, if you move up in a third, like to the next chord in a third, you're basically only changing one note, right? So only one of those notes are changing, even though it's rising. So from D minor, he's choosing his voicing based on the least amount of movement. So D minor, you only have to change. The only difference between D minor and F major is that they use a C instead of a D. So if instead of going to, you can just move that one D note down to C. Right? He's basically just doing that the whole time. Then he's going from F to A minor. into G major, or C major. So he's basically just doing that minimal movement, but it sounds very emotional because of the way how smooth it is and still how much the emotions are changing. Right? So that's pretty fun. And then we're doing this sweep up in the thing. So basically he's doing arpeggios here, right? He's doing a D minor arpeggio and he's passing the E on the way there. And here he's also doing an F major arpeggio, but he's getting that D on the way up after he finishes. And then he's doing A minor, but also including a D in there, you know? It feels more emotional. He's adding different non-chordal notes in there. Then he speeds it up and then basically keeps going up for the C major, but he adds the D in there too. And then he goes back down, so he's doing it like back and forth. So he's going up and opening up the filter, and then going down to close the filter, which is pretty cool. Mirrored motion. So then he starts it over again, right? Just does that same thing again. And then you have something different here. What's going on here? You have... and then we start on D. We go down to C sharp. What? We're going down chromatically. We're going to C. And then boom, that's a resolution to B flat, right? So we're basically... This is a somewhat common resolution, where you go chromatically down from the fourth to the 1. So he's kind of modulating. He's basically modulating back from D into B flat. And then we have this. Then we go back to our normal motif to end it off, right? So what are we doing in the strings to accentuate that? Right, so we have D minor, and then what are we doing here? A major. Wow, so we're doing, basically using that leading tone in the context of D minor. So a lot of the things they do whenever we'll do minor keys is they'll use the leading tone, which is the minor second below the root, instead of using this C. They'll instead, so it sounds kind of grand when you go from 5 major to 1 minor. Pretty cool. Instead of going, so it's using the leading tone there. We're doing it with the A major, and then we're going to A diminished. So we're kind of making. Then we're really building tension here. We're with this diminished chord, right? So we're building to a little bit of tension with this leading tone. And then we're building even more tension with this diminished chord. And then immediately we're resolving. So you hear that? It's like it's getting more tense and more tense, and then it just resolves. Then he goes back to that riff. But he does something a little bit different here, too. What is he doing here? He's basically resting on this F, on this A flat or B flat in the bass. But then in the strings, he's doing what? He's doing... so we have... Wow. So he's establishing like that, A flat minor 7 in the while doing the B flat in the bass, right? So if we have a B flat in the bass while we're doing that, Then what does that make this if we have a B flat? That would have to be like that doesn't work. That's really weird, but it works. It's not terribly dissonant because we're so far down in the bass. I can't even hit this. So it's definitely a dissonant chord. But he just went really dissonant with that one. Right, so we have... Oops. It's not as dissonant as if we put it up an octave. And it's not terribly dissonant. Actually, it's a lot less. I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but it's a lot less dissonant than I thought. Right, so it's basically, this is a big chord here. So if we had, I would say that's basically like, could be a G minor chord of some kind. So this is like... G minor, but then we're hitting, so this would be like G... No, it just doesn't track, really. I suppose it could be G, A flat minor 9 over... A flat minor 9 over B flat, but then the 9 is in the bass. I guess that's why it's weird, is because the 9's in the bass. So that kind of makes it strange. That's a little bit strange, but it sounds good. Genius. And then what is he doing here? Yeah, now he's resolving to F, right? So he's resolving back to F there. The strings are just playing F. And then he comes in with this synth. Na, 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 na. Yeah, pretty cool. And then it basically just starts over again. So but you have this. Na, 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 na. Right, and that resolves really well back to A flat minor for some reason. But anyway, let's check out this melody now. So this melody, let me see what people are saying too. I think the cowbell hit is missing a hit right at the end of the first bird chirp percussion loop, which has it. Well, I'll check into that at some point after we're done and see if that's missing. 8-bit music theory described it as delicious dissonance. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, right? Level of dissonance would have gotten arrested in the late 1800s. Yeah, right? If the tritone didn't. The tritone was like the devil's interval. 1800s. Minimal movement equals ambient. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but it's basically just a ooh, that's cool. Just a minor ninth or a major ninth with the ninth in the bass, which is unusual, but it's not really too bad. Kind of strange, but it's good. Gotta do college homework. Bye, y'all. Bye. Welcome. No, thanks for coming. Have a good day. That's how you know I'm feeling tired. I assume that the Earthworm Jim was playing. Was a play on Lorenzo's Oil. Oil. I have no idea. I haven't played Earthworm Jim. 16-bit, but 8-bit music theory is like a YouTube channel that he's referring to. I recall Brian Eno being tasked with coming up with Windows 95 startup song. He described it as miniature music. That's funny. Miniature music. Windows 2000 piano music was better. These dissonant chords sound like they say a whole lot in such little time. Yes, they do. Yeah, he only had a little time to say what he wanted, so it ends up being if you only give someone like a minute to make an impression, you end up having a really dense song instead of dragging it out over a long time, which is what a normal song would do. So this part, this melody with the harmonica coming back here is doing. Right? So he's playing around in thirds again. The theme of that's kind of the theme of the song, right? Is playing around in thirds. But because the chords change so little, it remains consonant to the chords. Because it's like we're in D, right? Right? So it changes the cool thing is like what he's doing here is he's like repeating the same melodic motif over and over again, but because the chords change, it changes the context or the emotion that you feel the melody with. So it's kind of a cool way to change the melody without changing the melody. Like a life experience of sorts. Yes. There was a level called Lorenzo's Soil that had a track that's subterranean that I called. Oh, okay. We want a piece of music that's inspiring. What's the name of an In Flames album? We want an inspiring, universal, blah blah blah, optimistic, futuristic. Recalled, and then the bottom of it, he said, and it must be, and it must be to like 5 seconds. I can't even read that number because YouTube has that annoying emoji that hides people's. It must be 3¼ seconds. Yeah. All right. So, and I remember the way that I chose to end this song, like when I did an ending, was pretty cool. I did. Right? Because I chose to end this on, I think, C, right? So, and the resolution here is going from B flat to, no, it's actually going from, oh yeah, it is going from B flat to C, which is kind of a great way to end a minor key, right? So C minor, it goes into, basically going like that 5-7-1. Is the most satisfying way to end end a minor key is to go from 7 to 1, really. So, and in the bass I just did like, oh, I actually went down to G sharp, but it still has that sound of a resolution, curiously enough. But in essence, we're going from B flat down to, but because it still has enough of that C in there, it still sounds resolved. So that's I guess that's why that works. But anyway, in the melody, I did this basically da na na na, and then I went down to A sharp, do dum, to kind of enhance that 7-1 resolution. Pretty cool. What if you just combine those two last notes in the ending you made? Combine those two last notes. What do you mean? Like put them at a thing like this. Dun. Yeah, but I don't really like the space that it has at the end of here. I like how it just do that. I like that it gives it some more things to do. Yeah. All right, y'all. So that is pretty much that. What time is it? It's 5. We'll have a thing I'm gonna go to at 6:30, so I'm gonna hop off here. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, what will we be doing tomorrow? I'm gonna come back with more DK64 tomorrow, I do believe. So we'll get that going, right? And yeah, so I don't know which track we'll do yet, but if you guys leave me some suggestions, we cannot do Frantic Factory, that's for sure. But let me know what DK64 track you guys want, because we can do most of the other ones except for Jungle Hijinks, Jungle Japes, or whatever. We can't do that. Yeah, it's a cello. It's the cello from the Korg wave station, but the lack of expression in the cello, because a cello is supposed to be changing all the time. This one's just looped to like one vibration. So it sounds like a harmonica because our harmonica's tone is consistent. Cello's is not. A cello's is changing all the time based on how the player plays. So that's why it sounds like a harmonica when it comes from a synthesizer like that. And it's also why a lot of times people will hear samples of guitars in video games and they'll think it's a harpsichord because a harpsichord has a perfectly consistent tone, but a guitar does not. Has so many variables that change with the player plays it, but not in a video game. It just sounds like a harpsichord. Thanks for the stream. Covered a lot of the classic DKC2 songs today. Yes, next week we'll probably come back with I don't know, what's the next one? Next one would be Haunted Chase. Yeah, Haunted Chase we have a lot to talk about. It's basically an orchestral piece. We'll come back with Haunted Chase and then Crook's March. That'll be some fun, exciting stuff. And then in a Snowbound Land there too. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you guys have a good day, and then tomorrow, let me know which if you guys have any preference on DK64 songs. We can do most of them already. So can't keep getting away. So let me know what you guys want, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Right, probably earlier than today. Cheers. Mind blown. All right. Have a good day, y'all. This is Jam and Sam signing off. Until tomorrow.